Ugh. This place stinks. What a cheap, ugly place.
Cheap? Ah! Ugly? My home this is.
What are you? It doesn't matter. I was sitting here in search of a master of expensive gear to make all my content great. Tell me where he is.
Expensive gear not make one's content great.
Huh.
Great content can be made with what you have. Cheap things you can afford.
Huh. Yeah, you asked the impossible.
Great gear, it surrounds us. It's in that sale, in that bargain bin, at the top of the page when you organize price from low to high.
Hey, who are you anyway?
I am a humble master of all things junk. I shall show you the ways of a junk knight.
Hey.
Yeah.
Time to do the thing. Do the thing.
Doing the thing. Gear doesn't matter. Gear's not the answer. I mean, we've all heard these things, but let's be honest. Sometimes it kind of is. I mean, how are you going to make anything if you don't have something to shoot it on? But frankly, what everybody's talking about is the big things. The $700 light, the $200 microphone, the however expensive this camera is. But gear can also be just little things. Cheap little things. Poor people, like you and I, we don't have a bunch of money to spend on a bunch of stuff, but an extra 20 bucks, if spent the right way, can prove to be pretty useful. In a lot of ways, these little things, they serve really as problem solvers and just anything that can shorten the distance between deciding you want to film something and actually filming it. We use a ton of that around here, being poor people, like I said. So, to jump on the bandwagon of the whole gear doesn't matter debate, we got a short list. Gear that we've got lying around that's invaluable, but again, incredibly cheap. Starting with this guy. Can they see it? Not like the green screen, but the... Huh? So admittedly, this is the most expensive thing on our list of gear. I think it was between 30 and 40 bucks, closer to the 30 end. But we figured we'd go ahead and just rip that Band-Aid right off and get this out of the way early. Essentially, it's just a backdrop holder, backdrop hanger, frame, backdrop monkey bars. We bought it essentially to use as our green screen setup. It pretty much stays set up all the time. In fact, so much so that we're not gonna take it off now. So here, enjoy some other footage of when we first got it. It's like 13 feet tall. The pole that goes across comes in sections. Hopefully here's some great footage of that sections setup. All put together, it's I think 13 feet wide. So maybe it's 10 feet tall. It's got 4 sections, goes 13 feet out. So if you don't need it that wide, you can only use 3 of them. You can only use 2, that kind of stuff. Not only is it great for green screens, or if we had those big rolls of paper backdrops, we could use it for that as well. But we use it as an overhead camera rig. Using a couple other things that we'll get to here in a moment. Settle down. We can hang our entire camera off of that pointed straight down. We've gotten a lot of great use out of it.
I think it's 8 by 10.
It's 8 by 10? 10 by 9.5. So it's 9.5 feet tall and 10 feet long. This specific backdrop frame came with a good handful of other things. It's got some little clips to keep the green screen on it. Came with some sandbags. And if you notice on top, some beautiful clamps. Speaking of clamps, got tired of standing. Like that splash of color? This is a quality YouTube backdrop right here. All right, clamps. This is where we really kind of get into the point of this whole video, because like you can shoot a pretty quality looking video just on an iPhone these days. But like we've all been to one of those positions where we're like, oh, I wish we could get some like light from over there, or like I wish we could get a camera up in that weird like little corner. And sure, eventually we figure it out, but I don't think any of these clamps are over what, 10 bucks? You can just like already have something, be able to throw it up there, be like, oh, I know exactly how to get it up there, and skip out on the 45 minutes of problem solving and tying a bunch of knots and looking for string and all that other kind of nonsense. So we got all sorts of clamps. We got your classic, here's the clamps that go with the green screen. That's nice. You got your classic, what are these A clamps? Is that what they call these? I'm gonna call them A clamps because they're in the shape of an A, but grip clip does seem like a far more professional name, so you know, pick your battles. We got our C47s, otherwise known as the clothespin. These things are remarkably handy. Both in trying to film stuff, you need something pinned to something. It's not very heavy. You got a clothespin. You're eating chips while figuring out how to set up the next shot. Got to close that bag of chips. Boom. Use a clothespin. But then we get to the really exciting stuff. My favorite clamps. These guys. I think officially these are called super clamps, according to Small Rig. By the way, there's links to all of these kinds of things in the description so you can see the exact clamps. But these guys, I think this is 10 bucks, maybe $11. But you've got your nice little clampy boy that could, a little foreshadowing. You just clamp it. And we've got nice little ball head guys here on top. These are all your standard tripod mounting screw size. But these things are absolutely great. It's my new favorite little thing to just have. We clamp it on light stands, we clamp it on tripods, not even for film stuff. The other day I was reorganizing the shelves that we keep all our gear on, and I just stuck a tripod mountable like light on the end of this thing and just clamped it to the shelf. This thing articulates, boom. I had light to see what I was doing. It's amazing. These two, we mentioned using the green screen backdrop as a way to hang like a vertical mounted camera. We just used both of these. Stuck one to one end, stuck one on the other, and it held incredibly well. Like I said, 10 bucks, absolutely invaluable. Speaking of the magic of ball heads, we have a ton of ball heads. These things I know for a fact because we just bought more. You can get a pack of 2 of them for 10 bucks off of Amazon. Again, link down there. You've got your little tripod mount up there. Another one of these nice little grippy feet. Then this guy is just, you know, a ball joint. So you can stick that at whatever angle you need it and then ratchet that boy down with this guy and boom, that thing's not moving. On the other hand here, we've got our little hot shoe mount. I guess cold shoe mount, because obviously you're not getting any power in there. So if you've got, you know, you want to mount something on top of your camera or something like that, if it's got a little hot or cold shoe mount, you just slip it in. We've used that to put our microphone on top of our camera. On top of that, let's say you want to screw it into something else, something with one of those little tripod joints. This guy unscrews and they can just screw this on top of things. A few weeks back, a fellow creator here at the GCA compound, if you will, started streaming and she's trying to set up a camera to look at her cat. So without really any kind of troubleshooting at all, I mean, every webcam I've ever seen has one of those little tripod mountable spots in it. Just screwed it to the top of this guy, stuck that on a little tiny tripod, more foreshadowing, and then angled it up. Boom, there we go. Can't recommend them enough. Speaking of the Rascal Cam, nice little baby tripod, we need our okay. Our baby tripods. I think technically this company, these were advertised specifically as phone tripods. Came with nice little phone clips. These things, I don't remember how much they cost. I think they were like 12, 13 bucks. We use these for literally everything. I use one, I stick a light on it for my stream setup. We use it for the Rascal Cam. We've used it to hold VR lighthouses. You can mount a GoPro on it if you want a nice low angle on something or there's a nice table next to you. These things get used more than, like as far as the use to expected use case of them, these things are fantastic. Speaking of light stands, this didn't fit on the table. Cheap light stands are, again, absurdly useful. They don't have to hold up very much weight. They don't have to be particularly sturdy. I mean, stable is useful, and obviously the sturdier the better. But even just these cheap, we got these when we bought some cheap like photography lighting. There isn't a link for these in the description because frankly, at a certain point, you're gonna just end up with them from buying other things. I mean, these came with those lights. The backdrop that we've got the green screen hung on, those came with a couple of pretty decent quality light stands. Actually, we do have a couple light stands we bought specifically. They're probably nicer than what fits into the rest of this video, but I'll go ahead and throw one of those in there. Those are quality light stands, but really all you're looking for, as long as it has, once again, the same tripod mount as everything else on here. Stick that at the top. You can use this. I mean, you can use it for lighting, obviously. We've got one hanging up our boom arm here. We use it for stream lighting. We even have on Guano Stream, again, link in the description. We've got a cheap little camcorder that we use as like an alternate angle. Sometimes it's like a, what would you call that? A pro gamer angle. A pro gamer. We got him a pro gamer angle with this old camcorder that we just had laying around. Stuck it on a ball head, screwed the ball head into the top of this, and boom, tripod. And because of the design, one skinny pole down the middle and just the legs here at the bottom, it doesn't take near as much space on the floor as a normal tripod would, trying to get a camera up that high. The one problem we do have with that is in order to get the camcorder into our streaming device, we've got just cords laying all over the place, which brings us to number 5 on the list. Bolo ties. Bongo ties. So this is kinda, would you consider this inside baseball as far as film stuff goes? I feel like nobody knows what a bongo tie is, but they are absurdly useful. It's basically just a little, like a big ass rubber band that's got this little dumbbell looking thing on the other end. And so let's say you've got a pesky wire. Let's say you got a marker that for whatever reason you need, this is way too wide. Let's say you got a tripod and for a particular shot, you need a marker stuck to it. You know, classic conundrum, we've all been there. So what you're gonna do, tape it. You just stick it on there. You throw your bongo tie and boom. It's not going anywhere. We use this primarily for wires, but this is one of those things that when we were first starting out, everybody was talking about, get you some bongo ties. You'd be amazed at how often you use them. And they were exactly right. I think we got a 10 pack for like $5, $10. I'm putting the price on the screen for all of these. So if I'm embarrassingly off, there's the price. I'd say if you take anything away from this, you got 20 extra bucks to spend. Bongo ties and this Wonder clamp here, those are the way to go. So yeah, that's only a handful of some of the little knickknacks that we use pretty much all the time. But I think it's a great start. When you start thinking about gear, sometimes it doesn't have to be the big things. It can be the little ones. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of tropes in the creator business, including whether gear does or does not matter. And we all know, yeah, it does for a bit, but it doesn't have to be expensive gear. You know, you have to learn the ways of the destitute junk knight and find the value in junk, both big and small. And then bend them to your will. So yeah, like and subscribe, you know, if you like stuff like this. We got a bunch of other videos. There's a whole Do the Thing playlist if you're interested in specifically these kinds of stuff. You can check out our Twitch stream, linked in the chat. That it's twitch.tv/GuanoLocoLobo. It's pretty cool, pretty fun stuff going on over there. Join the Complex, our Discord. That's also down there in the description. It's a pretty cool group of creators that, you know, it's just a good old home. See everything we have to offer. And in the meantime, you know, go do the thing. Stupid hood. This is our wide lens that we shot everything else with. Look at that beautiful lens. It's hella cheap. Got these fun little stickers that we put on all our stuff. See, there's one on this dead battery also. Look at that fun little sticker.
Cut.
We got this thing.
Are you done?
This is also a cheap tool, but doesn't really fit the prompt of this video. And actually, I don't know how cheap it is because it was a gift. But between these guys and the little clapper, it's really just, it's so useful. We got, this is our little MC lights. You know, that's a fun little thing. Again, way more expensive than anything else on this table, so like you can't include it. But maybe we'll do like a medium one day, where we'll talk about like camera cages and MC lights and, you know, other things. That's brighter than I expected. Everything's kind of blue, but it's great, you know. It's just good. It's good stuff. I got this now. So I can set up a... Oh, actually, I just thought of a use case. Let's say we had a GoPro. Stick a GoPro on here. And point it straight down. And then you can like write with it. And the GoPro will like see you writing. That could be fun. What you think? Oh, yeah, this is a bunch of nonsense. I think we pulled it off. By God, I think we got it. I think we did it. We did it. I feel good. Do you feel good? Okay. Cool.